Hi, this is Christelle Martinette. I woke up this morning and I was looking back and I realized that the reading I put up was more of a picture, a photograph of, what I was seeing for everyone. And it didn't give us enough perspective of what is to come in this period. And usually it's quite interesting for me to get the new moon, full moon, that period of time is very, very important. So I'm going to, this is all the signs together now. I'm going to start with the runes and go backwards. Yeah, and what's coming up? There's, what I'm seeing is journeying, the emphasis here is on our path, on the road that we're taking. That is where it's not the ultimate goal that it's not the pot at the end of the rainbow that is going to be of interest to us or of importance to us, but it really is the journey itself, and it's on that journey where you really learn more and you get more information in order for you to proceed in the future. And you'll have the impression that you need something. You feel like you need to find out. You feel like you have to go somewhere to get information. You'll have that impression. But the theme, okay, this is I'm going to call it like a challenge. This challenge is in the road itself, trying to remember that it's the road that we're traveling on that is going to bring us more of what we need to know. Right? So the more we travel on that road, the more information we'll be getting. Let me take some voodoo tower around these runes. Yes, and it's the people that you will meet on your road that will make you feel that you should be making decisions. It's the people that you encounter on your road that are going to make you think, well, perhaps this is a moment where I should start to believe, well, perhaps I can take this road and not the high road. I'll take the low road. And perhaps I can, now is the moment that I can make that decision. There's the challenge of the road, the challenge of going and traveling on this road without understanding where the goal will be, nor where you will end up. Okay, so that is a challenge. But the cards are telling me that, first of all, there will be elements of seeming danger that you think, well, I cannot go there. You'll feel that there is some kind of danger up ahead, and there will be some unknown factor, and the unknown factor is what you term as fear. That's what's making you fearful, because it's something unknown. But what I'm seeing in the unknown on your road, on our road, because I'm here too, is that the person who is the other for you, persons you do not know, all right, this is what I mean, people you do not know, the other will appear to you now in this period more familiar as you go close to them, as you approach them. The appearance of that person will seem more familiar to you. You'll be able to make the connection with the way they seem to people you have met in the past or even in past lives, but they'll feel familiar. The issue here is coming close enough to be able to then recognize. Now, when you are feeling that okay, I'm at a crossroads, and this is in the interim between the two moons. I'm at a crossroads. There is here a message that whatever decision you make, be reminded that it means giving up something. And there is no right decision. It's a decision for this moment, for this time. In another moment, in another time, you can make another decision. Of course, many of you will say, well, surely if I take this decision, if I risk capital, I will maybe losing capital. It's a bigger risk. If I go down this road and I don't risk capital, at least I'll still have my home. There are pros and cons, but every decision does hide a non-decision, so a road not traveled, and you will make a concession. So every decision is a concession. If you can bear that in mind at your crossroads, and then put on the scale, on the positive, on the negative, what is all positive about this? What is all negative about that? Weigh the options and make decisions knowing full well what concession you are making for one decision and what concession you're making for another decision. Now, I did bring up in the two readings the scrying session in my mystic scrying medium Christelle's channel, YouTube channel. I put a scrying session there. It came up very clearly, the theme of fear. And I wanted to explore this for the two moons, the period, not just the post, but up until the new moon. And, I'm seeing fear compounded. It's as if there are two types of fear here. There's a fear of letting too much time go by and not taking the opportunity. That's one. Or also taking the opportunity and being sideswiped, knowing full well that you shouldn't have done that. So it's causing for many of us immobility, the desire not to do anything, which we'll see the other cards. This is the Initiatory Tarot, the Golden Dawn Initiatory Tarot, because inaction is causing also a reaction. And the reaction in this case, I'm seeing it with this fire card here, Legba la Flambeau. It's a 6 card. I'm seeing it as not a reward. Okay, this is different from normal tarot. It's not a reward. I'm seeing it as excitement, agitation, anxiety, desperation, a very high, fast vibration of fear. Okay, this is what inaction brings. Now, but it's very nicely balanced off by that notion of going toward the other and getting familiar, becoming familiar, not only putting black on white on paper, the good and the bad, but going up to sniff, going up to see, going up to feel and take a look at being close to see, what do they look like? What do I feel when I'm close to them? What is it? Could this person hurt me? How do I really feel here and now that I'm close? And take a look and see that and assess that for yourself. And that dissipates. It tends to offset the fear. And the decisions then come. Okay. The journeying period from between the two moons, a period of journeying. The need for journeying really. Okay. Interestingly, when you approach the unknown, right? Now I'm talking about larger institutions like an unknown secret society. When you approach them with a little bit of trepidation, not knowing, but you're so drawn to that because there's something secretive there. There's a certain amount of emotion that is expended. Right now I'm going from the other to an institution, a secret society, that whole gamut, run the gamut of that different range. This is an experience that will occur between the two moons for many of you, going toward the unknown, be it another person, being the other, be it a secret society. That is going to be full of emotion. It's an emotional pull. You're doing it because of your emotions, because you want to test your emotions, going toward the unknown. And what typically happens for many of us in this period is you start, contacting people online. You go in places like Meetic, Match.com, there's so many, FetLife, there's so many, 2, 5, 0, they have all these names. And you start experimenting, going toward the unknown that way. For those of you who really want a screen, you don't want to risk that much. And even though you do that and you're thinking that you're covered and you're screened, the emotions will run high. Not because you'll find the man or the woman of your dreams on the other side, but because you're going to learn about yourself and your emotions. There are lessons there for you to learn, and how emotional you really are about someone else who's not there behind the computer. Let's take the example of the secret society. You're going there and, so this is the opposite end of the spectrum. You're going there to learn how it is possible to be part of a network that keeps secrets, that does interact with the outside world, but what is done behind closed doors, and the code, the unspoken code that everyone has on their lips, but they do not say, how does that work for me? Can I get something from this institution? Will it be worth my while to use my brotherhood of people in that, or sisterhood of people in that society, to help me progress in the world with a new perspective? Not only making money in, but will it help me learn how to interact with people without necessarily having to give of myself, right? And this is, I see this as the other end of the spectrum for people who are, again, do need a sort of mask. They need some kind of hidden, they need to hide behind something. But the curiosity is there. And you go toward other people, you go toward whether it's in a computer, whether it's a secret society, whether it's a new restaurant, bar, pub. You go there to sniff around and see if you could learn something. See if you can rub elbows with someone, rubbing elbows with someone. And see how you can measure yourself against them. They're taller, I'm shorter. They're thinner, I'm heavier. I'm taller, they're shorter, They have blonde hair, I have red hair. He's bald, I have a lot of hair, And you come out of that. You come out of that knowing a little bit more about yourself, but see this the expended energy, how much time you have taken in that, behind the computer, chatting with men and women, behind a cam, playing with men and women, in a secret society, going through the initial rituals, rubbing elbows, the amount of energy that you expend in that activity. What does it bring you by the full moon? It brings you to a point where you have begun. You started with yourself and you are with yourself again. And it has been possible for you to see a mirror, and that has acted as a mirror to reflect back to you what you already know, that person is very important to you, so I will think of that you will stay at your job because what you're seeing in other realms is, so what it's, the energy that I'm getting for this intermoon period, which is always so interesting, the intermoons, the couple of weeks, 10 days, couple of weeks that takes place, is that you'll be going out boldly or less boldly and spending a lot of energy doing that. But then you'll be coming back to square one, to the initial place where you started. Hold on, I'm going to turn on the fan. It's getting warm here. And while I was at it, I just took a glass of water, a swig of my bottle, because I think this is going to be a long intermoon period reading. Now, so we've understood that it's a journey back to ourselves, this interim period, this 2-moon period. Now, this decision-making process is, that whole experience that you're going through, the decision-making process is a spiritual one. You know that you're on a quest, and you know that you're on a quest to learn something. And ultimately, most of us are wanting abundance economically, abundance in love, abundance in spirituality, general overall feeling of well-being. This is high on our list. And what I find in the reading, in the cards that are suggesting things to me, is that decisions, yes, they do have to be made, but I find that leading up right to that full moon, we all go on a quest, we all seek the abundance, and we all define what we're looking for, but then at the end of that, right before the moon, and this is the journey, remember the runes, the journey, there's going to be another need, and the need is going to be to go within and reassess your spiritual values. There's not a spiritual crisis here. I don't see a spiritual crisis. What I see is a learning process, as the runes had announced, a learning process in this intermoon period that gives us some elements, not many, some elements of comparison. You compared to others. You compared to the elbows that you're rubbing. You compared to other people. And you stop short before taking any decisions of which road to go down. And you feel like you need to take time with yourself and go within. And that does happen, but it's right before the full moon. And I'll take more runes on this. As a matter of fact, I'll do that right now, because I want to see. Yeah, you will be taking time. You will be taking time right before the full moon to, because you want to sort of savor, gustare, you want to taste what success could mean for you. And your musings, your thoughts will be around, I have this time, I have this lifetime, and I'm this old. I have years ahead of me. What do I want to achieve? Do I want that time to be as it was in the beginning of, the first half of my life, or my life up until this point? Is that enough for me? Do I want to change? And if so, the questions will be, what do I want from here on to the end of my life? I want every day to count, Yera. I want every day to count. And I want to see if I could improve my life up until the end of my days. And this is what you're thinking about. And I'll be taking the Sibila on this. As a matter of fact, I'll do that right now. So you see that I'm jumping around, but I need to clarify the single thoughts as they come up. The first, the other toward the other, I'm happy with that. But this decision-making process is a little more insidious. It's a little more exacting and taking energy away from you, spending energy. Yeah, there is underlying this story here, underlying the idea of taking a decision is an emotional situation. It's a love situation that has not been working. For those of you who are taking time and going back and going within and understanding and looking and deciding whether you want to change what you have done in the past and in the second part of your life, there's a situation with a person that you have met, okay, without going into too much detail. This is a general reading, but you want to definitely make a positive change in that, with that person. You may go back to the scene of the crime, I'll use that expression, but high among your list is whether you want to go forward, and it seems that you will, but that it has to change. There is a change with respect to the way you acted in the past, which was characterized by sadness, a lot of sadness and failure perhaps, but that is the nature of the decision here. Okay, now, the idea that we mentioned before about taking the high road or the low road, and why will we, what will we do eventually? After this taking stock that it is that situation that's keeping you behind in all realms, because when you have an emotional situation that you just is not better defined for you, it just seeps through all of your different domains in your life, your work, your friends, your livelihood. It just conditions it. Now, what the beautiful cards that I have here, the Initiatory Tarot from the Golden Dawn, Golden Dawn, and it's mirroring the Secret Society reading, that part of the reading, is the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups. Look at that beautiful card. It's the Nine of Cups followed by a very lovely Eight of Wands. It's as if you get a reawakening. You have a spiritual moment where something just dawns on you, and you make a decision in a heartbeat. And it is right around that full moon that justice is served. And this justice card here stands for those of you who are waiting for a ruling, waiting for a sign of hope at the end, some light at the end of a tunnel, where you can say, yes, things are going my way. But it also speaks of universal justice. Finally, the decision is going to be made. And the decision that you ultimately take is going to be based on one single moment of enlightenment. It's as if you're struck by lightning, literally struck by lightning, and all of a sudden you know what you have to do. And that's how it's going to affect us. All of a sudden, out of the blue, it's going to emerge, and you feel like you know. All right, now let me take the Vita Sibila on this to see what they have to say, if they can give me any insight, more insight. So it seems that we're going to be on a mission here of exploration, and the initial runes told us that it is the road that we take that is going to serve you best, because ultimately it will reflect back to you things you need to know about yourself, and it will bring you back to a situation, an emotional situation, where there might be an element that you would like to change in order for it to progress in a different manner. But the decision ultimately is made when you feel you see the light at the end of a tunnel, and you know that there is a positive element in another domain of your life, and whereby you can make the decision, and then it's very, very rapidly made. Very rapidly made. And it's a very interesting, not stop, go. It's as if you have to go through this journey, reflect, and then out of the blue, you know. So it's the journey, and I'm glad I woke up with this need to clarify those individual signs yesterday, because I realized that I was just giving you a flash without anything about what, it was like a state of mind for everyone, but the reading is telling me it is a journey, and the 10 days, 2 weeks period. So, okay, we're going on a journey, and I'll be there. I'll be there. Just wave if you see me. Yeah, okay. It's interesting how the Vida Sibila, and a very brief plug for my new Vida Sibila course that I've dropped down half price. You can find that on my website. And it's also a certification course. I give you certification. There's a process, and for readers who are interested in that. What are the Sibila telling us? Now, we have a male enemy, conversation, and deliranti, the delirious people. Now, the way these cards work is that they're telling us the decision involves a position where you were at the opposition. Okay, so there's a position where there was an antagonistic nature between the parties. Right? That is going to give way to open communication. And that is what is going to bring us this Nine of Cups situation at a very rapid pace. Interesting. Interesting. Take the greens on that. All right. Yeah, and all of us in that situation, we're not going to see it coming. We're not going to see that illumination. We're not going to see that charge of energy that's going to hit us in the head and say, that's it, I've got the answer. We're not going to see it coming. But even if we experience it as a bolt of lightning, Lagas Lagus is telling me that it has been long in coming. It is all that time spent, let's say, apart from that person, or all that time spent abroad, away from that person, all that time that you did not communicate with those people, that person, that group, that individual, that really is bearing its fruit. There are two processes and two perceptions here. One is that we don't see it coming and it hits us, and another is that we have to acknowledge it has been long in coming, and one has led to the other. It just is a certain moment that we acknowledge. And I do see that it is the espousing of those two moments that ultimately brings this Nine of Cups situation, and brings the abundance economically, abundance emotionally, in all of what you are most seeking. And what you'll find here, the runes are telling me that what you'll find is that they overlap. Your emotional situation with persons or a person will have to do in some way with your livelihood, the work that you do. Either you're going to get them involved, but in any case it will have a reflection on, both will not interact, but they influence each other. It's as if we're going in, it's a package deal here. You just don't compartmentalize. You don't set people aside from your other areas and other domains of your life. It is one package. And we stand to gain when we become illuminated. When we feel that, we can easily take the decision without compromising too much. All right? Now, I hope this was of help to you, ladies and gentlemen. And it clarified a number of things for me. And it also gave me a perspective of a 2-week period that is quite always very, very interesting. That this is my experience between the two moons, between the 5th of July moon and the 19th, 20 moon, depending on where you are in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here, and welcome to my new subscribers. And until we read together again, bye-bye.